You call it when he comes in here and just takes her without asking me.
Nola, hang up the phone. Nola, hang up that phone.
He had no right to come in here and take her without asking me first.
How could he ask you? You weren't here.
Well, then he should have waited. What was the rush?
Oh, honey, I don't know. I think it had something to do with the phone call that Quint made.
Quint called Floyd?
No. He called Tony, but I think Floyd overheard him.
Overheard what?
I guess he was worried about us being here all by ourselves.
Well, we're fine.
I know that, you know that, but you know Quint.
Quint wouldn't worry unless there was something to worry about.
Well, if there was, he didn't tell me what it was.
Quint must have told Tony something that would make Floyd rush over here. Take Stacey. I'm going to call Quint.
Sweetheart, it is the middle of the night.
Well, he should know that Stacey was kidnapped.
Honey, she wasn't kidnapped. Floyd probably took her for the weekend or something.
The weekend? Oh.
Now, where are you going, dear?
I am going to see Floyd.
Yes, what is it?
Quentin, it's Helena. Let me in, please.
You can put that away. I'm alone and no one followed me down the hall.
Well, I've learned that one cannot be too careful in dealing with you, Helena.
Quentin, I tried to sleep, but I couldn't. The same thought kept running around in my mind.
Excuse me, but I must continue packing. If Gunther and I are to be ready to move out at dawn.
Quentin, you are not going anywhere until you hear what I have to tell you.
All right, Helena, what is it?
All right. It's the dig. I've been up thinking about you going out there. And I couldn't take my mind off of the last time you and I were there together.
If this has something to do with your returning with me on
No,
the dig,
no, this is
forget
something
about it
else.
because-
Something that occurred to me, Quentin. I never even considered it before, and I was wondering if you'd ever thought about it.
Thought about what?
The explosion. All these years, we've both thought of it as an accident, but suppose it wasn't. Suppose the explosion was detonated at precisely the right moment, but in the wrong spot, so that you and I would be killed.
I didn't even think we'd get a chance to talk, Mark.
I'm sorry, Amanda, thank you. But when Rebecca showed up, I just didn't want her getting suspicious.
Why didn't you get back to me last night? I told you I knew what we had to do next.
I tried calling you. I knew how upset you might be after I rushed you off the
It
phone.
doesn't matter now. We don't have to wait any longer. What we need isn't here. The evidence we need isn't even in this house.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm positive. It's all in a letter that Brandon wrote to Lucille on the day I was born. Mark, that's why he left the clue in the jewelry box.
What did the letter say?
That the clue to what we're looking for is in the secret of my beginnings.
Amanda, I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't at first, either, until I figured out what Brandon meant. We have to go to a place called Lake Conestoga. All the papers that prove that you are half owner of Spalding Enterprises are there.
Lake Conestoga?
Yes, they're in a boathouse of the Stafford summer house.
And now, the award-winning Guiding Light.
Jennifer's summer house? Amanda, are you sure?
Yes, I'm positive.
Well, tell me exactly what the letter said.
Brandon started by telling Lucille that I was his gift to her as a symbol of his love, that even after his death I would be a constant reminder of what they meant to each other. Then he went on to say something that sounded almost paranoid, Mark, as if he was living in constant fear of something terrible happening to him. He told Lucille that if he died under suspicious or mysterious circumstances, that she could find the secret to his demise in my beginnings.
You know what he meant by that?
Well, no, not at first, but I kept reading the letter over and over and over, and then it hit me. He meant precisely what he wrote. He never mentioned my birthday in that letter. He kept using the word beginnings. He meant where I was conceived.
I don't understand. What does Brandon's death have to do with my right to half of Spaulding Enterprises?
I don't know. But I think if we go to that boathouse, we're going to find out.
Amanda, have you always known where you were conceived?
No. So I went to Alan and I asked him.
You did what?
I had to, Mark.
Amanda, do you realize what you may have done? If Alan is the least bit suspicious, it could destroy everything.
Mark, I did it for you. I had to know where Alan and my mother had their affair, so I asked him about it.
You should have come to me before you went to Alan.
Well, you left here. I didn't know where to find you.
Well, then you should have waited.
Mark, please. I don't think Alan was suspicious.
You don't know that. Alan Spaulding is a very shrewd man. It wouldn't take him much to suspect something.
All right. I should have asked you first. I wanted to help. I wanted to be able to come to you with all the information and...
I appreciate that. But if Alan is the least bit suspicious of my claim to half of his fortune, he will do everything he can to cover his tracks, and then no one will believe us.
Mark, that's just it. I don't think he is suspicious. He and Hope would never have invited me to dinner tonight.
They invited you to dinner?
Yes. They're having some kind of dinner party. I don't know. I felt I had to say yes.
Oh, that's good.
I'm going to call Ross and cancel. He's supposed to pick me up.
No, you can't do that.
Why? Mark, we have to leave for Lake Conestoga. We shouldn't be wasting time around here. We have to find those papers.
Amanda, you have got to go to that dinner. Alan is expecting you. If you don't show up, you'll start to get suspicious, and so will Ross.
It doesn't matter now.
It matters more than ever. Alan could find out what we're up to. Listen, I've got to go home and change before we can leave anyway. Meantime, you go to that dinner. Do everything you can to make them believe there's nothing going on.
You know how hard it is for me to go there and face all those people after what I know.
Amanda, you have to for both our sakes.
All right, I'll go. I'll call you when I get home.
No, don't call me. My phone may not be working still.
Well, I want to leave late tonight. It's a long drive.
Fine. Be careful tonight.
I will.
Thank you for everything you've done for me.
I did it for us.
I'll talk to you later.
I put the charges along the base of this wall so that when they were detonated, the wall itself should have crumbled in.
Yes, but it didn't. It fell out, Quinton.
And that's how Professor Renfield was killed.
Yes, but if he hadn't changed places with us that morning, we were the ones who would have been killed.
I know, Helena. It was a cruel twist of fate that cost him his life, but why? Why? Why do you think that the charges were tampered with?
It's the only way that any of this is logical. Quinton, you laid charges for that type of explosion hundreds of times without a mistake. Why this time? It just doesn't make sense.
I've asked myself that same painful question for the past 10 years, Helena.
But Quinton, don't you listen? It isn't possible. You were always a fanatic about safety.
Maybe I misunderstood Professor Renfield's instructions, or maybe the charges themselves were defective.
Or maybe someone moved the charges after you finished and set them in a way that the wall would explode, killing whoever was near it.
No. I placed those charges myself the night before.
Yes, but Quinton, I overslept for the first time, and I couldn't make the inspection. So that gave someone all night to move those charges so that the wall would bury us when it crumbled. Quinton, look at the facts. It was the first time you ever made a mistake, and it was the first time I ever overslept. It's just too much of a coincidence.
There's only one person who could have done such a thing.
Silas Crocker.
Why? Why, Helena? Explain that to me. Silas and I were good friends.
I don't know. I thought he was my friend, too.
But why, Helena? Why would Silas want to kill us?
I don't know, but the answer lies at the site. Quinton, if we can prove that Silas killed Professor Renfield, then we can have him arrested and put in jail for good. If we can find him.
Well, if he's not in Tankir, There's only one other place he could be.
Springfield.
Exactly.
Have you called Nola and warned her?
Well, I called, but I couldn't reach Nola. She was gone, so I spoke to her mother, but I just couldn't tell her the whole truth.
Why not?
Because they would all be frantic with worry.
Quentin, isn't it better to be frantic?
Than dead. Yes, of course. But I spoke to Tony, and I explained the situation to him. I also told him to hire more bodyguards for Nola and her mother and the baby. We can just pray that they can get to Silas in time before any harm comes to them.
Honey, I wish you'd think about what you're doing before you go over there.
I don't have to think. I just want to get my little girl back.
Oh, well, at least don't get all upset. I mean, you know how angry Floyd can get where the baby is concerned.
I just don't believe that you just gave her to him like that.
I didn't give her to him. He rushed over here. I guess it was because of the call Quint made to Tony. Why don't you call your brother and find out what it's all about?
I will as soon as I get my little girl back.
All right, honey, but don't go over there screaming and yelling. You'll upset the baby, and you know how much she loves her father.
Mother, I'm going.
And another thing. When you come back, I want to know exactly why you lied to Henry about that ring.
I didn't lie.
Oh, yes, you did. You didn't tell him that ring belonged to Quint's mother.
Oh, how wonderful. I found you in. Hello, Nola.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, babe. I was just on my way out. Oh, well, this won't take long. I just stopped by to congratulate you on your engagement to Mr. McCord. We're not engaged. Oh, well, Daddy said he saw the ring. Oh, there it is. May I see? I know a little something about jewelry, and oh, this is lovely. Yes, and it looks to be about 30 years old. Actually, Quentin got this in London several years ago.
Oh, well, looks to me like something that was passed down in the family.
But that's impossible because Quentin doesn't have a family.
How silly. I mean, I keep forgetting.
So like I said, I was going. I was just on my way out.
Oh, honey, one thing you're not going to do is go alone. I promised Quint that Fritz would go with you. I'll
Tell him I'm ready.
Right on. You know what I think is so wonderful? A simple little girl like you from 7th Street managed to get engaged to a handsome, dashing man like Mr. McCord.
As I said before, Vanessa, we're not engaged.
No, but you're very close. In fact, I'm sure there's nothing about Mr. McCord that you don't know. Honey, Fritz is bringing the car around the front. I can see Vanessa out since you're in a hurry. Sweetheart. Honey, wait a minute. Well, I'm sorry that she couldn't stay a little longer and chat with you.
Oh, well, that's all right. It was a very useful visit anyway. Thank you. This shouldn't be difficult at all. I'll be able to make a sketch of that ring, and I'm sure Daddy's jeweler will be able to recognize it. No, Caroline, I told you I'm not interested. No, Edward didn't talk to me. But even if he had, I would have told him the same thing. Caroline, you don't understand. There's somebody at my door, Caroline. I've got to go. Okay? Yeah. Tell everybody I said hi. Oh, all right. Yeah, okay, goodbye. Hi.
Hi. Listen, I'm sorry I'm so late.
It's okay. Come on in.
Thanks.
Did you get, all your family problems worked out?
Yeah, well, everything's working out okay temporarily, but with this family, you never know. All hell could break loose any minute.
Do you want a beer?
No. What I need is about 3 months alone with you on a desert island.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah?
But, in the meantime, I think your family needs you.